Alright, so as you can see, this beautiful giant beast is all taped up and ready to be painted. So I went ahead and just covered up all the things, obviously, that I don't want painted. Like the landing gear, white areas, and the nose cone, and the cockpit, and the tail, because the tail is going to be silver, but the rest is going to be black. Alright, so these puppies right here are 1,000-pound Mark 83 bombs, and you can tell that they're pretty big. I tried to make them as accurate as possible. Tried to make everything as accurate as possible. I redid the tail fin a couple times, and I'm going to have to redo the bottom flap for the front landing gear again. But that's what you get for getting a cheap plane, which is fine. Anyway, these are going to look totally different once they're painted. They're going to look hopefully realistic. Alright, so these are all the missiles that I created. And so that's the top and the bottom of the missiles. So this stick here that I got from Walmart is going to be the body of the missile. And with a little paint on it, it's going to look perfect. Alright, so this is going to be who's going to be the pilot for the aircraft. It's kind of a combo of the Viper and G.I. Joe Slipstream, I believe. And I've changed the paint on the plane because I didn't like it originally. So I've added some gray highlights to it. Alright, and here is a view of this beautiful craft from the bottom. Pretty much all the armaments are scratch made. So the 1,000-pound bombs, obviously, and the torpedo and the sidewinders are all scratch made. And then, of course, the fuel tanks are from the BBI Blackhawk. This thing's amazing. I'm really happy with how it turned out again. And of course, here is the pilot, who's custom made, as well as the pilot's seat is custom made. So I used a obviously Viper helmet, and it kind of pops onto his head. And then I used Slipstream. I think it's like 50th anniversary Slipstream for the pilot. And the ejector seat has real cloth like seatbelt, and then it has the little green bottle that the actual ejector seat has. The seat itself turned out a little rough because of the printing wasn't as accurate as I'd hoped, but it looks good enough to me. It's got a lot of little details and stuff. And then here, of course, is the pilot again. Yep, he's got his little oxygen tubes and everything. Yeah. Alright, it's finished, and I'm very pleased with the outcome. So yeah, I originally bought just the middle part of the craft with no wings or ejector seat or tail fins or anything, and for $200 on Mercari, and then just started working on it, and it turned out fantastic. It's my first project using the new decals that I now know that I can make, so I'm going to be making them obviously for everything. It's 162nd Squadron Air Force Reapers. Let me get a better picture of the tail fin insignia. But I also got the refueling pattern right here. And all of the insignias, except for the gray one. I couldn't get it to do light colors on dark surfaces, so I had to use an actual airplane decal for that. Anyway, there's my little Reaper, hanging out on the tail, and it turned out great. I figured out how to get those to work. They do have a little bit of a shine to them, which I don't like, but I bought a better brand, hopefully, that will work better. So this is it, and I couldn't be happier with the outcome. The original black paint job, I couldn't really get the decals to work on it, so I added the gray, and I really like the way the gray works. Really happy with how that turned out. And no problems on the paint. Everything worked fine on the paint. I even painted the exhaust silver. The wings come off, so do the tail fins and the main tail fin, vertical stabilizer. And the cover for the front wheel obviously is also mine, because I think whoever had it before just stripped it and sold the parts, and then sold the main body of the aircraft shell. But the only thing I couldn't, would have been a deal breaker, would have been the glass cockpit, because I can't do any kind of glass unless it's flat. So anyway, it's got sidewinders, it's got fuel pods, it's got 1,000-pound bombs, it's got a torpedo, which I was using for my Black Hawk, but I'm going to sell the Black Hawk soon, and I decided to keep the missile because it would have broken off anyway. So yes, very happy. Couldn't be happier. My first large 1/18 scale aircraft. Unless you count the Chat May, which doesn't count, I don't think. The Chat May C-130 or the G.I. Joe Sky Striker, which is much smaller than this as well. All right, thank you so much. Very happy with how it turned out.